My name is Heikki Vepsäläinen, Division President for Large Motors and Generators at ABB. Today we talk about energy efficiency, collaboration between companies to accelerate transition towards sustainable future. It is about individuals, companies and governments to contribute on a journey. Today, 2/3 of world energy is fossil fuel based. Great news is renewable transition has started and is accelerating. I have a privilege to have Fabrice Billard from Burckhardt Compression with me. Fabrice, welcome.
Hello Heikki, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Welcome. To drive the energy transition is a huge task. So Fabrice, if you can elaborate what Burckhardt Compression is doing towards sustainable future.
Yeah, in a way, I guess like ABB, since 180 years, we bring innovations for the industrial world. And sustainability is a new challenge, and for this we'll bring new innovations. Our compressors are involved in the complete energy chain in many gases, which we make usable. We transport them, we compress them, etc. And here for sustainability there are special challenges, and for that we've increased our R&D budget by 90% in the last 2 years, and we start seeing the orders coming now in LNG, in solar panels, in hydrogen mobility, which are really 3 key areas where we can have an impact. So that's really the first part, new equipment, new solutions. But the second part where we can really have an impact right now is helping our customers improve the efficiency and reduce the leakages in their compressors. There are about 70,000 large compressors in the world for which we can help customers, and that we can do now.
That's important, definitely. Fabrice, I know you are also passionate about sustainable future, not only in the company, what the Burckhardt Compression is doing, but you as a person. So what motivates you?
There are really 2 things. One, on the professional side, it's really inspiring to write the next chapter of the company with our 3,000 employees. And when I look at the challenges in the world and the technologies we really have a lot to contribute, and that's very inspiring for all of us. At the same time, it's more personal. There is something deeper than this. I truly believe that sustainability is about handing over the world to the next generation in a better shape than we have inherited it. And climate change is one of the big challenges we have. And when I look at my children, I have 2 children, 17 and 20 years old, they contribute a lot at their level. Yeah. And as CEO, I have much bigger levers in the end. And really I want to contribute and in the end hand them over the world in a better shape than we inherited it. And that makes really a true purpose, a true motivation, very personal one.
So Fabrice, can you a little bit elaborate more of those 3 applications you mentioned?
Yeah, sure. First, solar panels. This has been our driver of our order intake the past 18 months. There we play in 2 different sub-applications. First, when you look at a solar panel, there is a thin, transparent plastic film on top of it. This is usually EVA, and it needs to be produced with a chemical reaction at more than 3,000 bar. So it needs huge compressors, and we are leading in there. The second one is polysilicon, which is also required as the core of the panel. And here we also have compressors, and we're leading in that application. So a nice place to be. Then if I talk about LNG, first it needs compressors before the liquefaction. And then as soon as you have LNG, you have boil-off gas. And it needs compressors to be managed. And there we are also leading, especially in these large LNG carriers, where you have a lot of boil-off gas, which we also inject to the engine. And finally, hydrogen. This is for me the most exciting, the most promising for us, but also, I guess, for sustainability, very interesting. Hydrogen for many applications needs to be compressed at very high pressure. And hydrogen is a very small molecule, so it's really not easy, and we have differentiating technology in there. That's why we focus R&D in these 3 applications.
Good. Great to hear that you're leading in the multiple fields you operate, and that's actually how we're able to make also the change as 2 companies together.
Indeed. I mean, when I talk about solar panels, for instance, for this 3000 bar, it requires motors with more than 30 megawatts usually, and only few people in the world can do this kind of motors. So indeed, these are something we can collaborate on, and we do actually. Good. So now let's talk about ABB, and I'd be interested to know what you have as plan for sustainability and what motivates you as a person to drive them.
Thanks, Fabrice. And this is important for me. From my childhood, I've been an outdoor person and nature person. And for me, it's important to enjoy the surroundings and the fresh air. And I'm very happy actually to see that ABB values are actually very much aligned with my own beliefs. So that brings the purpose to work and also supports my personal beliefs. All activities we do at ABB with our suppliers, own operations, but also with innovative products with high efficiency, helping our customers on their sustainability journey, will actually get us closer to a sustainable world. That's actually what motivates me in my personal life, but also in business life. And there's also a bigger picture in front of us that we all need to address. Today, roughly 50% of world population is living in cities. By 2050, 2/3 of world population will be living in cities. This is a huge transition what needs to be addressed. But not only this, global warming. There is estimated that 1.5 degrees of a global warming actually is the threshold. Every degree above, 1 billion people will be moving. So 2.5 degrees, 1 billion people will be moving. 3.5 degrees, 2 billion people will be moving on top of this urbanization. We need to address this. So we need to act today on sustainable future because still we can. And Fabrice, it's important because no person alone and no company alone can do this. And that is actually the reason we talk here today, that two companies and multiple companies get together to bring the innovative solutions, to bring more platforms towards sustainable solutions. And that's what we do at ABB. We bring the companies together, and that also motivates me as a person, as an individual. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, and I guess in our case, we can even see this collaboration when we deliver a compressor system. The two main parts are the compressor and the motor that drives the compressor. So we're really working together in any case in our systems.
But also looking for future. There will be more opportunities on energy transition. And Fabrice, as you mentioned, hydrogen. ABB works on hydrogen field on power generation, on renewables, but also compressing, like compressor manufacturers, on distribution. So actually we are also at end-to-end, but on electrification side, where you're on the compression side. And there is multiple different touching points with many companies like Burckhardt Compression.
So Heikki, you talk about hydrogen, which I said is really something we are also passionate about. But there, in hydrogen more specifically, what are the applications or maybe even bigger? Where do you see the biggest future for hydrogen?
It has been estimated by 2050, 18% of world energy will be hydrogen driven. This is a huge shift. It is about 6 gigatons of CO2 emissions. To put this in perspective, actually it's today 3 times of Europe's CO2 emissions together. Think about the opportunity we are in front of us. And not only that, it has been also estimated industry as a hydrogen will generate 30 million new jobs. So it will be win-win for everyone.
Yeah, indeed. And it's interesting when I look at the communications around hydrogen, especially green hydrogen, everybody talks about the electrolyzer, which is indeed a very critical component. But there are 3 other critical components in there. One is the compressor, the other one is the motor, and the last one, the dispensers, if you look in fuel stations. And I think there is still a lot of innovation to be done in these 3 areas, which kind of sound more traditional, like motor and compressors. So I think here, together, we can do things, certainly.
Absolutely. And about the sustainability, it's also the driving energy efficiency on the motors. ABB is the leading player on the motors, but also we have the world record on energy efficiency on induction and synchronous motors. And that is critical for our customers. More is the higher efficiency, better off they are on their sustainability targets, and once again closer towards sustainable future. Fabrice, we have lots of things we can collaborate, definitely also near future towards hydrogen industries.
Sure, I'm really happy to listen to this, because when we do the carbon footprint of our compressors, from the raw materials to the recycling, which can last 30 years, 50 years, or even 90 years, 99% of the CO2 footprint comes from the usage at our customer, meaning comes mostly from the electricity which goes through your motors. So really that's one of the biggest levers for us to reduce the carbon footprint of our compressor systems.
Exactly. On top of it, because of the reliability, availability, maintainability and safety, also key factors, these tends to be high capex items. That's also what we provide to our customers like you and for our end users together. So Fabrice, on the development of hydrogen, do you see a more collaborative approach, because this is a new industry?
It's a new industry, and there are indeed many players. You look at the big industrial gas companies that want to play a role in this in the future and see an opportunity to become big energy players. But you also have the existing energy players who want also using their current distribution network for fuel, etc., want also to to go there in the future. And you also have completely new players like the Nel and the Plug Power. They have billions from their investors to make that happen fast. And it's really fascinating to see how sometimes they are competitors, sometimes they work together. So at that level, there is some collaboration. But where I see the most collaboration happening is really in the supply chain. And I think it's really necessary, because if we want to make hydrogen competitive in the future against fossil fuel, and if you want to deliver the volume that you mentioned before, then we need to scale up the infrastructure by a factor 10 first, and then a factor 100. And for this, we need a supply chain, and we need to define standards together, and we have to do that together. And I think that's one of the topics that we can dig deeper into.
Yeah, there's definitely, like you mentioned, multiple level of the collaboration on technology, on the supply chain, but also the technologies, how we build the packages together. Definitely, yes.
Yes, and one area where actually we also need a lot of collaboration is with governments. We need governments to, on a global, at least European basis, to define rule of the games, which are stable, which are clear, so that the big investment can happen. And that needs also exchange with the industry, I believe.
Correct. Truly exciting times in front of us, and I'm very happy to see the level of the collaboration we are having here, and also other companies joining the party. We have a keys for a sustainable future, and we need to now implement and do and commit what we have stated. Thank you, Fabrice, for your time today, and collaboration to continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heikki, for having me here. It was a pleasure discussing with you, and I think the more we discuss, the more ideas we find how we can collaborate, and I'm really happy to do that more in details in the future with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heikki.